everybody. Hi, I am Kristi Jauregi. I am Associate Professor here at Utrecht University, and I am also the General Coordinator of the TeCoLa project. So a very warm welcome to all of you. But not all of you, but all those people, because we have like 100 colleagues watching this online. So welcome to everybody. I'm looking also to the camera, and I hope that you will enjoy, all of you, this TeCoLa day. So, and I will tell you something about the project and all the resources we have been developing together with our teachers, who are really very important within the project. So let's start. The TeCoLa project. What do you think TeCoLa is about? Because there were some colleagues making some jokes this morning. They told me, the combination between tea and cola, is it nice? But what do you see within TeCoLa? Which words? Gamification is really very important. And here we have a wonderful ball with a microphone. So we can throw, and then we can communicate in this way. TeCoLa, what do you think? What is there in TeCoLa? Anybody? Anyone? Anybody? Not our colleagues, but the rest of the audience? Yeah? Let's see whether it works. Okay, I will cooperation. Yes.
Collaboration.
Collaboration. Good.
Collaboration.
Collaboration. This is working. Thank you so much. Any other person? Any other colleague?
Communication.
Communication, collaboration. Any other? No? But that's very good, because that's what TeCoLa is about, and telecollaboration, which includes communication, collaboration, cooperation, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So let's... we have TeCoLa, that's the logo, and we call it TeCoLa, but it has a very long title, and I will share it with you, because it is pedagogical differentiation through telecollaboration and gamification for intercultural and content-integrated language learning. So that's what TeCoLa is all about. As you heard, it is an Erasmus Plus project. We started like 2.5 years ago, and we will be finalizing the project in August 2019. But we will come back, I assure you, because it is plenty of work to do, okay? And we need you for the future. Well, the question is, why TeCoLa? Why should you start engaging in such a project? And there are some issues related to our society. Our society, which is a very dynamic society, with a lot of innovation, experimentation, and creativity going on. We talk about a highly globalized society and technological. It is a very technological, digital society. And I think that these are skills that we have to implement in our education to make more competent citizens, learners, students. Okay? That's one part of it. And the second part is we look at language education. What's happening there? And we have the impression, and I think that we might share this impression, that there is a need to create better and more meaningful opportunities for our learners to engage in real, authentic communication and interaction in the target language. Nowadays, it is difficult to organize this in our classrooms, okay? Another one is related to the need to address intercultural competencies. Well, we are talking about a globalized society, so we should pay attention to interculturality, right? So TeCoLa is working on that. There is a need to use also ICT meaningfully. Many of our teachers are using YouTube, are using maybe social media, but there are other possibilities also to include these tools meaningfully in our curriculum. And there is another important factor that teachers know that their classrooms are diverse. How do we challenge? How do you address this challenge in our curricula? So, and there is the TeCoLa team willing to help teachers to introduce innovations in the teaching and not doing that on their own, but just being trained, being coached, being helped. Okay. Who are we? The TeCoLa Consortium. And you will be able to meet all of us, almost all of us today, because we are present in 6 different countries, in Holland, Utrecht, and 3DLS, and Nick. We have Belgium, also with the University of Antwerp, France with Transitlingua, Germany with Link, Spain with the University of Valencia, and the UK, the University of Roehampton are working on that. And these are names and these are institutions, but what are the faces? And have a look at this. This is us, okay? This is us at the very beginning of the project, and we are really smiling. You can see our enthusiasm, yeah? And then a year later, we just keep on smiling because it is really very challenging what we are doing, but, and that's the team. And that's the team who have been helping these wonderful teachers in their schools to introduce these innovations in their teaching. So which is then the main focus? I've already said that. Is telecollaboration, which is, I think that's words were really wonderful, online international cooperation. A special attention is addressed in TeCoLa to authentic communication. Yeah, it is not that an exercise that you have to do with your peer sitting close to you who also speaks Dutch. And now we have to do it in English because our teacher is asking us to do that. It is meaningful if you are carrying out this task to come to know pupils who are living in a different country, okay, using these tools. Intercultural experience is really very important to address this intercultural awareness. Content, either it is for CLIL with capital letters or CLIL with small letters. Content is very important when we are communicating. And so we learn from each other. We acquire new knowledge and content. Learner agency, because we think that everything we do it for them, for our learners. So they should be central in our approach, okay? And also stimulate their autonomy and their creativity, because we need creative people in this wonderful society. Learning diversity and how to apply pedagogical differentiation, and indeed, again, intercultural cooperation. We have to learn to cope with diversity, okay? How do we do that? So this is the special attention in TeCoLa, and it matches the 21st century skills. So we are preparing our learners to acquire these very important skills. Excuse me. So the special attention in TeCoLa is on gamification. And you saw how nice it is to get a ball and to be able to provide an answer or to ask a question. It makes it more ludic. It is different. So that is the idea that it contributes to foster motivation and also learning. How have we done that? We have done that especially using our virtual world, and you will see different presentations referring to this. We had role plays, so learners playing roles in the virtual world, but we have also created quizzes. They are interactive with one another, but they get a quiz, and they have to know whether the answer is A, B, or C. Yeah, and then they can get also feedback from the system. We have done this also in the virtual world. We have created games. Do you know snakes and ladders? Yeah, so that's something that learners can play in our virtual world. And it is, of course, all about interacting, about communicating. It is not just playing, but interacting. Communication is for us central. And we have created a wonderful treasure hunt, and you will be able to have a look inside of the treasure hunt, okay, to see how it works later on. So we have collected a lot of data, and with this data, which comes from the exchanges, we have created a TeCoLa open educational resources, and then we will have a look at what we have there, because we have plenty of things already there. Okay, but some more information about our exchanges. These are the countries that have participated in those exchanges with their learners. Okay, we have the UK, Sweden, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Spain, Greece, Turkey, and Taiwan, which is really very nice to have them also with us. Okay, so we have 40 teachers who have participated until now in those exchanges with the learners, 727 learners. Most of them come from secondary schools, and we have 30 schools who have participated in TeCoLa or are participating in TeCoLa, and we wanted to see what happens if we do telecollaboration with primary school children. So we have 4 schools who have participated from primary schools, and we have also vocational schools and even a pre-vocational school, okay, who will be sharing also the experiences later on this afternoon. So this is the data we have been using to create those resources. Well, the exchanges have been carried out in different languages: English, French, German, and Spanish. And the communication constellation has varied between tandem, that it means that in these exchanges you have a native speaker speaking with a non-native speaker. Let's imagine English and Spanish learners carrying out tasks once in English and another time in Spanish. Okay, so that would be a tandem exchange. But we also have the lingua franca approach, and that would mean that the native speaker is not present, that both learners are foreign language learners, and the second language they are using is foreign for both of them. Okay, so we have had 21 pilots, and have a look. 17 exchanges have chosen the lingua franca approach, and for the tandem approach. And that's something that the teachers decide how to work, what to do, okay, what the preferences are. Okay, exchanges. Which tools? Because we were talking about, well, interactive tools are very important and to make this collaboration possible. So we have used different tools. Do you know Padlet? Are you using Padlet? Yeah, it is a wonderful, right? A wonderful software where you can, it is an interactive wall, and you can upload text, pictures, vlogs. You can interact with others, and you can comment the vlogs that others have uploaded, for instance. And this comes from a pilot we carried out with a secondary school in the Netherlands and a primary school in Spain, and the technology was not that good. So they said, we want to engage our learners in telecollaboration exchanges, but our school is not sophisticated. So we said, okay, we could use Padlet. And what we did there, we created 5 different walls, and we matched a group of learners here in the Netherlands with a group of learners in Spain. And they carried out 4 different tasks. And the tasks were vlogs. Talk about yourself, talk about your city, talk about the rituals, how does a day look, a normal day. So they were doing these short vlogs in groups, and they were sharing them with one another. So the only software they used, or the tool they used, was Padlet. Here there is another example, and in this example, this is Fischertoft, School in Leiden. they collaborated with a school in the Basque Country in Zarautz, and they used the Padlet as a community meeting. Okay, so they exchanged. Well, they put some pictures on them and what the hobbies were, etc., etc., and they moved over to use other environments, such as the video communication environment or the virtual world environment. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at our resources. What can you find there? Because this is the home page. Okay, and we are going to go there. And what we have done there, you can find all kinds of tasks in English, in French, in German, in Spanish. You can find assessment activities. Everything is there. Okay? And you can even find the activity types and making a selection here, the tools you want to see, and the type that you use and the type of exchange, whether you would like asynchronous or asynchronous exchange. Or you can just scroll down and then have a look at what we have here. Okay, so you have the task, you have the description, but also the worksheets that you could be adapting and take them to your classroom. Okay, and use them with your learners. Another interesting thing we have in our resources pool are voices. Okay, who are our teachers? Who are our learners? And what are their experiences? And we are working on that. And we have until now, we have some teacher voices. So we have Corinne, who will be presenting later on. And we have here Pilar Pellicer, who is briefly describing, well, how did the telecollaboration look like, which tasks did they use, the challenges they address, and what was activity that the learners enjoyed most, okay? Just for inspiration. You have also all information about our tools, the TeCoLa virtual worlds, the video communication, etc., etc. And very interesting, I think, for teachers who are not very familiar with telecollaboration, but the different aspects of telecollaboration, we have created video guides for teachers, okay? Like information about how to get started with telecollaboration. Learner diversity and pedagogical differentiation, how do you do that? Task design, how do you engage your learners in which kinds of tasks, what are meaningful tasks? Gamification, well, we have the Snakes and Ladders game and the Valencia treasure hunt, and some more information there. We are working on the case studies because we are gathering data, we are analyzing data, and we will come with the results in June, July, and in August, you will have everything there under the case studies. And of course, all the tools and the virtual worlds, the video communication environment, and these are tools that are there for you to be used. Yeah, we will be finalizing the project in August, but everything is there for you. So if you want to engage your learners with a partner school in another country, you can make use of these tools, okay? And as we said, we would like to come back with another project. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Okay. So you can follow us on our website, TeCoLa.eu. You can follow us and join us in our Facebook, TeCoLa Project Facebook, or Twitter, okay? But please join us. Well, I don't know whether there are any questions so that we can play. There is a question.
Yes, it's an online question.
There is an online question. Barbie? Okay. Is it?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, this is from Amanda Gerke from Salamanca, and she asks, what reasons are there for choosing lingua franca over tandem? What reasons do the teachers give?
Well, I think that she should be listening to our teachers. But one of the issues is that when a teacher, when learners are interacting in a tandem exchange, the anxiety levels are really very high. Okay, let's imagine that they are beginners in the target language and they have to interact with a native speaker. They feel like, ooh, how I am going to do, and then in a lingua franca approach, they know that they have, that the level is approximately the same. They are not the experts, so they are not feeling with problems or anxious about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
just
that's. But my colleagues will be talking about lingua franca approaches and the teachers also.
Okay, and just a comment from Roland Barrios. I'm not too sure where he's from, because he's mentioned it. He says he thinks intercultural cooperation could be a very useful way for connecting our students with the use of the language in real-world situations. So that was his comment.
Yeah.
So if I have
And
any
I
more
think
questions, I'll pass them on.
Yes, and I think it is really very important, to be aware about these intercultural issues and reflect
Are you
about
ready?
them. I am ready. Yes. Ah, yeah. Any other? Thank you. I'm very good at it. We have been practicing the whole week. Yeah. Are there any further questions? Everything was very clear. Great. Okay. So we have 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. Oops.
Yeah, I thought maybe it would be interesting to pick up this lingua franca issue again, using one's target language, one's common target language as a pedagogical lingua franca. That is, our German students are learning Spanish and our French students are learning Spanish, and they both communicate in Spanish. That is the pedagogical lingua franca situation. Of what is the advantage of this? And Christy mentioned some of this. What I would be interested in is to hear your opinion. Do you feel, as teachers, do you feel comfortable with this? I mean, traditionally, as foreign language teachers, it's all about communicating with native speakers. I mean, this is how I learned English. This is how I was severely inhibited when meeting native speakers. And this is also how I experienced a sense of liberation when I met other non-native speakers I could communicate with in English. So this is this aspect Christy mentioned. Another aspect is this is the reality out there. You do not only communicate with native speakers, you communicate with other non-native speakers of your target language. And doing this, you focus more on what it is about, namely communication, and not getting things right or something like this. You focus on communication, on interaction, on empathy, helping each other, and all these things. Would be interesting to see how you feel about it.
Any reaction?
Yes, I think it's a very good point. I was just wondering about English, which is like the dominating lingua franca. So between the German speaker and the Dutch speaker who are both learning Spanish, they both probably also know English better than they do Spanish. So I would just like to hear your reaction on this reality.
Well, these were some of the concerns of the teachers, but as it turned out, the learners, the students, would stick to their target language and fight it through. And maybe they would resort to English or maybe to some other language they had in common as a help, but they would be focused on their target language. Yeah.
At the back. Kurt.
Whoa.
Yes. Oop.
I think I agree with you because I come from Poland. This side of Europe is just empty when you look at your map. And when I learned English, I I didn't have any contact with native speakers because Poland used to be closed. There was a this iron curtain. There were not so many materials. We had books. You had to copy them or rewrite them. So, and I think now English is just a global language. It's not only you don't even have to speak to a British person, an American person, but you just speak to a German person speaks to a Hungarian or a Polish one, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, and of course, I came to the Netherlands. I had to learn Dutch, and I had students. I preferred students from I don't know African countries or the countries who spoke people who spoke French because I knew that I would then stick to Dutch because whenever I had somebody from India or I don't know Philippines, we spoke English. Oh, in the corridors we spoke English during the lesson Dutch.
Yeah, and we are used to use English as a lingua franca.
Yes.
Everybody does, okay? We are using right now English as a lingua franca to communicate with one another, right? But we have used also this approach with Spanish, with German, and with French. Yeah, lingua franca. Yeah, with the same results. Yeah, interesting.
One question, Christy. Can you give some data about how many schools use which language as a lingua franca?
Yeah, dear Petra, because you.
Yeah, 17 from 21 exchanges used lingua franca.
Yeah, 17, but which languages? The question is which, how many exchanges in which languages?
The main language was of course English, but there were also like 4. I don't know it by heart. So there was some in Spanish and 1 in German. I think that's
one in German.
One in German.
And but we'll be describing
French.
the experiences this afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. And a couple of them in French, but the majority language was English. And don't forget that English is being taught all over the world as a foreign language. Some countries just teach one foreign language. In the Netherlands, we have the opportunity to teach more languages, which is a very important asset, I think, French and German and Spanish.
Yeah. I would just like to add that this is not because English is widespread as a lingua franca, but this is because, as Christy just said, that English is being taught in our schools. When I learned languages, English and French were even, which is no longer the case in German schools. But it's about a pedagogical approach here, and this is why we prefer not to speak of using English or German as a lingua franca, but as a pedagogical lingua franca. It's in this pedagogical context where it's about learning the target language, and we're using the target language in kind of more or less authentic interaction with other non-native speakers has a tremendous pedagogical positive effect. Try it out.
Yes. That's our message. Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering if there are any information or data available on the development of the intercultural skills or the development of the oral skills, for example,
what we have,
different projects.
Yeah, what we have created are tasks related to these issues. Yeah, and within the case studies, we will be providing some information, some answers to that. And the next presentation, thank you very much, is about the focus on communication and the intercultural aspect within telecollaboration, which is really very relevant. So more about it in a minute. Yeah, thank you.
As